Hello there. Thank you for watching the Uganda Catholic Television on this 11th day of June 2025. My name is Sunday Gloria Abwoch with the Wednesday edition of Uctv News. And as Uganda prepares for the national budget speech day tomorrow, the Uganda Debt Network has raised alarm over the country's escalating public debt, which reached 106.8 trillion Uganda shillings by March 2025. Peninah Naiga, a research associate at the Uganda Debt Network, cited rampant corruption and misuse of supplementary budgets as key drivers of the debt crisis. She has urged the government to prioritize sustainable resource management and proper appropriation to safeguard the economy.
The Uganda Debt Network has raised concerns over the ever-growing and costly public debt, which they say has become a significant financial burden on taxpayers. Currently, every Ugandan would literally owe approximately 2.3 million Uganda shillings to clear this debt. According to the Uganda Debt Network, Uganda's public debt has risen from US $35.1 billion in the financial year 2018-2019 to US $46.8 billion, representing a staggering 105% increase in just 6 years. In the forthcoming fiscal year, the government has allocated about Uganda shillings 28 trillion, which accounts for 37% of the total approved budget for the financial year 2025-2026. Specifically for debt servicing.
Kati ebbanja lyokka ne bw'okwata bajeti yonna nga bw'eri eya 7.2 ogambe nti nsasulemu ebbanja Uganda erigibanjibwa ya 16. That is by half of the financial year. Tezimala era zibasigala bakyatubanja. Naye ate njagala okugamba nti bajeti eryo gituukiriza. Tuba tulina okwongera ne tuweewola ate kati oloza ebbanja ligenda kubeera nga lituuseewa. Awo ffe tugamba nti ebbanja lisusse.
Peninah Naiga, a research associate at the Uganda Debt Network, attributes this soaring national debt to the government's financial indiscipline, accusing it of not doing enough to crack down on widespread corruption and abuse of supplementary budgets.
The abuse of the supplementary budget has been going on, and actually when this financial year is about to end, we thought when they said it was without giving out a 72 trillion budget, probably that incorporated everything. But it's just in a nutshell, even like after the first quarter, the supplementary budget was out already, and they were spending money in other sectors, and yet there are some people that were those centers they are immensely facing immense cuts from their budget.
Naiga adds that Uganda's debt problem is not due to lack of policies, but rather deficiency in implementation, where policies and laws are only enforced when they benefit a few individuals in the public sector.
I have no doubt in the policies that Uganda has. Uganda has really good policies, very good strategies, but the only issue is implementation. Because we have even the previous years, we had the public investment plan, but has it really been? Have they been following that talk? We usually have their plans. Actually, we've gone so far. Actually, even the NDP thing that we are from implementing, we see that there's only 20% of implementation, whereby the budget has to run on those development plans. But we see the government is not complying. The ministry not complying on the development plans that are laid on the table. So this policy would be very good if at all the Ministry of Finance and the government have really aligned their plans and their projects based on what their policies are saying.
It's upon this ground that she reiterated the Uganda Debt Network's commitment to closely collaborating with other civil society organizations to advocate for transformative and effective fiscal policies, which promote a sustainable and appropriate allocation of the available budgetary resources in order to alleviate the country from its current financial predicament.
We shall keep on advocating for sustainable use of our resources, prudent use and management of our resources, so that we can see a better change, so that we can see a better Uganda. We don't want to have a situation whereby it's only everyone is moving from everyone has to be in a certain environment to feel that the resources are there.
In the 2025-2026 national budget, which is set to be presented tomorrow, debt servicing has taken the lion's share, consuming Uganda shillings 27 trillion. This represents a significant share of the already approved budget and indicates that a substantial part of the revenue to be collected will be directed toward debt servicing rather than being invested in productive national enterprises that could improve the well-being of the citizenry. Joseph Kabale, UCTV News.
The Uganda Railway Corporation (URC) has raised serious concerns over the rising incidents of vandalism and theft of railway line materials across the country, warning that such acts pose grave safety risks to passengers and threaten the efficiency of train operations. Speaking to journalists in Kampala earlier today, URC Managing Director Peninah Naiga appealed to the public to desist from tampering with railway infrastructure, stressing that destruction not only disrupts transport services but also places significant financial strain on government resources.
Vandalizing our railway lines. These are the people who have rehabilitating Tororo Guru line. They have now reached Kumi Soroti. So people are taking that advantage to come and steal our railway materials. In March this year, a number of people were arrested in the area with railway materials. The operation followed complaints from the Tororo Guru contractor that 95 railway sleepers had been stolen. So you can see, in Kampala and Wakiso, thieves are also collecting the ballast, the stones, for their own construction needs. That's not allowed. These stones are supposed to stabilize the railway line. The moment you remove the stones, it means you are destabilizing the formation of the railway line. So kindly don't steal our ballast or the stones. Yes, we have railway police. Railway police is mandated to ensure safety and security of the railway assets, but sometimes we are thin on ground. The government has gone ahead to deploy the Uganda People's Defense Forces, UPDF, to make sure that they protect the line.
The question is, what happens if somebody knocks the train? One, if you knock the train, chances are you will die. That's obvious, because you understand how heavy a train is. Sometimes you see, for cargo trains, you're pulling close to 30 wagons. You're pulling almost 60 containers. So either even if you were in a car or you're walking, you'll die. That's number one. Chances of survival are limited. Two, if you knock a train, it's a crime, because you have gone in the right way of the train. So if you survive, you'll be charged in the courts of law, and you'll pay and compensate for the damages on the train. If, for example, it's a trailer, if you come at our terminal in URC and at our many terminals, you'll find many trailers that have been impounded, and investigations are going on because they knocked the train. So whether you're an individual or it's a truck or a vehicle, once you knock the train, it's a crime.
Motorists thinking they can be faster than the train, as it happened in Maraba and other areas. We are also inclined to believe that from the observation that some of these accidents are actually cases of suicide. So you can see somebody just coming and just hitting the train. And you know, in the railway business, the train doesn't knock. It's you who knocks the train. So the train doesn't, because it has only the rate of way. And remember, it's carrying heavy goods. It cannot easily stop. So it moves at a very high speed. And by the time it sees a person, it may not be able to stop. Even if you want to stop it here, you start from stopping engaging from very, very far. That's why the train doesn't knock. It's you who knocks the train. What are some of the guidelines? Stay away from using our railway reserve as a walkway. At level crossing, always stop to appreciate your surroundings before crossing. Do not overspeed into the level crossing.
The Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development has unveiled a comprehensive strategy to combat child labour with targeted actions in high-risk sectors including agriculture, mining and domestic work. Speaking at the Uganda Media Centre ahead of the World Day Against Child Labour set to be commemorated tomorrow, Permanent Secretary Agri David Kibenge emphasized the ministry's intensified efforts on enforcement, public awareness and grassroots empowerment. Kibenge noted that strengthened collaboration with key stakeholders is central to addressing the persistent challenges of child labor across Uganda.
Nationally, Uganda has developed and implemented policies, legal frameworks, and strategies to support child labor elimination. These include the National Child Labor Policy of 2006, the National Action Plan on Elimination of Child Labor 2020-21 to 2024-25, and the Employment of Children Regulations of 2012. Government has also reviewed the Labour Inspection Checklist, which has components on identification of child labour in the workplace, and accordingly, labour inspectors have been trained on the use of this checklist on being able to identify child labour in workplaces. Government has also put in place poverty eradication and wealth creation or economic empowerment programs, including the parish development model, supporting Juakali enterprise to transition into the formal economy program, which the Ministry of Gender implements, generating growth opportunities and productivity for women enterprises called GROW, the Presidential Initiative on Wealth and Job Creation, EMIOGA. We have the National Apprenticeship and Graduate Volunteer Scheme, among others. These have contributed to increase in household incomes. Why is that increase in household income important? When parents are able to provide for the needs of their children, including education, it lessens the burden and the extent of child labor. The changes these projects and programs bring create productive jobs and increase incomes at the household level. With increased incomes, parents or guardians are able to look after their children, hence saving many children from falling victims to child labor. Capacity building of frontline officers has also been conducted to ensure that they are able to identify child labor and effectively enforce the laws and policies in place. And then the governance structures responsible for coordinating efforts towards elimination of child labor have also been significantly enhanced. For instance, we have established at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development the Labour Advisory Board, which was inaugurated to advise the Minister on Labour and Employment matters, including issues to do with child labour. The Child Labour Unit within the Ministry under the Department responsible for Labour, Industrial Relations and Productivity was operationalized and serves as the Secretariat to the National Steering Committee on the Elimination of Child Labour.
And what is very key is that the government of Uganda has ratified all what we call the fundamental principles and rights at work that concern child labor. Two key conventions. have been ratified that concern elimination of child labor. Our concern now is the implementation. Just to mention them, we have a minimum age convention, number 138, that recommends the minimum age of entry into employment for children. Uganda ratified this convention in 2003. The other is the one that is about worst forms of child labor, ratified by Uganda in 2001. Uganda is up to speed and is also a pathfinder country when it comes to efforts leading in the direction of achievement of the SDG goal 8.7 that
That's it from our international news highlights. Let's take a look at Today in History. You've been very good company on the Uganda Catholic Television. That's all time we had for you this Wednesday edition of Uctv News. My name is Sunday Gloria Abwoch. Have a very good night.